What up, guys? Chris here to give my predictions for UFC 126 Super Bowl show going down this Saturday, of course. Apologies for the video being a little bit late. I always say that it seems like lately, but no, I was going to do it. I wanted to get it out this week, but unfortunately on Monday, my computer got a really bad virus while on SureDog.com, coincidentally enough, and it took me all day and night to fix it. And then yesterday, just had physical therapy, family birthday, and stuff going on. So this is my first opportunity to get it out there, but hopefully it'll be better late than never. That's all for you guys to decide. Either way, looking forward to this card. UFC 125 is actually a pretty good card. Wasn't looking forward to it, but this one I am looking forward to. Should be the first real big MMA card of the year, although last weekend's Strikeforce was pretty damn entertaining. That said, I'm not going to talk about every bout because some of these fights kind of might go a little more in depth than usual. So I'm going to talk about the fights on the undercard that I'm interested in. First one being Donald the Cowboy Cerrone making his UFC debut against Paul Kelly. Donald Cerrone, full disclosure, I think I've said it before, he's one of my favorite fighters in mixed martial arts. Coming off that win over Jamie Varner in the grudge match? Or was that the rematch, I believe? But impressive win for Donald. Paul Kelly, guys, he's a solid fighter. Kind of at the lower end of the UFC lightweight division. Likes to stand and trade, as Donald is. As you all know, if you've seen him fight. I got to favor Donald, though. I think his striking is much more dynamic. And I think his game is much more well-rounded on the ground. In particular, I think he's much better there. Plus, he should have the height and reach advantage. So I see Donald win this one, probably by a decision. But he might be able to catch Paul Kelly in the submission. But I think he's probably want to keep it standing. Because Donald usually makes for an exciting fight, and this is his UFC debut, so he may be looking at one of those big old UFC bonuses, fight of the night bonuses, which are much larger than the WEC ones he used to acquire. So I'm going to go with Donald Cowboy to win this by decision. Next up, Kid Yamamoto making his long-awaited UFC debut, taking on Demetrius Johnson. Mighty Mouse. Kid, for those who know about him, was one of the better mixed martial artists, particularly in Japan, over the last decade, but been on a bit of downside the last couple of years. Demetrius Johnson, actually, I picked him to lose his last fight against Demarcio Page, but he won impressively. Kid Yamamoto, I think he is the better fighter. I think he's got more talent, more natural power. Demetrius Johnson's a good wrestler, but I even think Kid has a slight edge there. However, Kid just, like I said, he's been on a bit of a downturn, so it makes me question how much he has left, I don't know. You would assume he would be up for this fight being his US and UFC debut, but it's hard to say. He wasn't announced for this fight that long ago, so I'm not sure how long he's been training or how his training's going. Demetrius Johnson, no doubt, is definitely going to look to capitalize on this opportunity. And though I think Yamamoto has the ability to win this fight by stoppage, by knockout, I won't be surprised if he does. I'm going to play it safe and go with Demetrius Johnson by decision. Next up, Chad Mendes coming out of Uriah Faber's camp, Team Alpha Male here in Sacramento, California, taking on Michihiro Omagawa. Omagawa has been on a bit of a run himself as well lately. Had a previous career in the UFC, I believe he went 0-2, but since he's been back in Japan, he's been tearing it up, including a vicious arm lock over Cole Escobedo earlier this year, or late last year, I should say. Chad's coming off the win over Javier Showtime Vasquez. Not the most entertaining fight, but a good win for Chad. Probably one of the biggest of his career at this point. Omagawa can't be overlooked in this fight. Definitely has improved since his first UFC run. I'd say he's more well-rounded. I think he's a better fighter than Mendes at this stage of their careers. However, I think Chad has a style where he could not easily, but I'm going to favor him to get the win here. Chad, strong wrestling background base. Saw it against Javier Vasquez. We've seen it in most of Chad's fights. I think he'll probably rely on that here. Granted, he's got to watch out for submissions and getting swept by Omagawa. But Chad trains with Team Alpha Male. I think he shouldn't see much of anything from Omagawa that he doesn't deal with in training on a daily basis. So, even though, man, I got something in my eye. It's bugging the hell out of me. But, anyways, although I think Omagawa can win this fight, I'm going to favor Chad Mendes by decision. Next up, Miguel Torres making his UFC debut as well. As are a lot of these guys, obviously, these WEC converts, or whatever you want to call them, but taking on Antonio Banuelos. Miguel coming off the win over Charlie Valencia, a win that he needed because he needed to get kind of a bounce back after losing. Not want to say the losing streak he'd been on, but after he had that devastating loss to Joseph Benavidez. Banuelos, he's coming off a win as well. I think this goes similar to the Miguel Torres Charlie Valencia fight, although I think this is more likely to go to the distance. But man, I got something else bugging me now. Cat hair or something, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I think this is going to be an exciting fight. I think stylistically this is going to be a really exciting matchup. Antonio Banuelos always brings the fight, but I think he's outmatched here, or, I don't want to say outclassed, but I think Miguel Torres is just a much better fighter overall, and I think it's going to show. I think it'll be an exciting bout. Probably go the distance, although Miguel could always catch Antonio in a submission, but I'm going to favor Miguel Torres by unanimous decision. On to, actually, yeah, that is part of the televised portion of the card, but next up you got Jake Ellenberger taking on Carlos Eduardo Roja. Ellenberger coming off TK over John Howard. Roja coming off a knee bar submission, I believe it was, over Chris McRae, the Ultimate Fighter alumnus, in his UFC debut. Rojas, that is. Wrestler against grappler, American wrestler against Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Stylistic matchup as old as it gets, Who do I favor in this bout? I think that Ellenberger is a much more physical fighter, bigger power. He's a hard hitter, he's a wrestler, but man, that guy's got some serious power in his hands, standing and on the ground, as he showed John Howard. As for Roja, obviously he's got some slick submission skills. Question is, can he catch Ellenberger on the ground in one of those? I don't know. Ellenberger might just want to keep it on the feet. I don't know who's the better of it there. I haven't got to see much of Roja's stand-up game, but I think Ellenberger might try to play it safe and just keep it standing, where he's got some pretty good power and some decent stand-up, but he probably feels he'll have the edge there and, look to hurt Roja and maybe finish him off on the ground. I can definitely envision that happening, so I'm going to go Jake Ellenberger by TKO. Next up, an intriguing bout in the light heavyweight division. Ryan Bader, John Jones. Both guys essentially undefeated. Ryan Bader is. John Jones is not, but, his loss coming to Matt Hamill is questionable at best. I think anyone that saw that fight, although he did get disqualified, most people realize that he was going to win that fight, or he, more or less, even in a loss, really won, aside from the mark on his record. Bader, he looked okay in his last fight, went over Rogerio Nogueira. Jones looked good as always, taking out Vladimir Matyushenko relatively early, although the stoppage was a little bit quick in my opinion. Oh man, this is a good matchup. I'd say I'd give the slight edge in wrestling to Bader, same with strength, but pretty much everywhere else I got to go with John Jones. Taller, longer reach, faster, much more dynamic fighter, definitely striking. Better cardio as well, which is something I could see playing in this. Now, although I think Bader has better wrestling, that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's going to be able to get John Jones down. John Jones' athleticism may be able to prevent him from Bader really being able to get in on him with the wrestling and take him down, unless Bader can get him against the cage and, get a takedown from there. But John has been training with Rashad Evans a lot lately. That's going to definitely help him in working on his wrestling in Greg Jackson's camp. And even if Bader does get Jones down, I don't really know how much damage he's going to be able to do to him there, or how long he's going to be able to keep him down. I think it should be a competitive first round, but after that I see Jones taking over. I just think on the feet he's going to really get the better of it there. Bader doesn't have the best cardio. I think as the fight goes on, he's going to wear down. And I think Jones is really going to shine in the third round. I see John Jones winning pretty impressively, going away by unanimous decision, or possibly getting a stoppage in the third round. And, moving on up that ladder to title contention. Next fight, probably the one that I have the hardest time picking, one of the more intriguing bouts. Former champions, former light heavyweight champion, Forrest Griffin, taking on former UFC middleweight champion, Rich Ace Franklin. Good bout, man. I really never would have thought about this bout in the past when these guys were in separate divisions, but now that it's made, I'm really looking forward to it. Both guys, in a way, are similar fighters. Neither of them stand out in one area, but are good, well-rounded fighters. I would say that I think Forrest Griffin, well, I mean, I won't say, he obviously is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter. No doubt about that. And he is going to have a size advantage come fight night. No doubt about that. But I think Rich Franklin is the better striker. I think technically he's better striking with his punches and his kicks, although Forrest has got some pretty good leg kicks, as we saw against Rampage. But I also think Rich is just more diverse. I think his game's a little bit more diverse. Both guys are pretty competent on the ground. Neither are really good wrestlers, but both guys pretty good jiu-jitsu, good ground skills. Not sure if the fight's going to end up there, if either's going to really want to take it there, if they just kind of want to stand and trade. If that's the case, I think Rich should get the better from the distance. Inside the clinch, Force is actually pretty good in the clinch. And with the size and strength advantage, he should be able to muscle Rich around a little bit there. I envision this fight going the distance for the most part, unless Rich can catch Force with something. Force doesn't have the best chin, and Rich has pretty solid power, even at light heavyweight, as we saw against Chuck Liddell. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna favor Forrest Griffin. I've been telling people all along, including on last Sunday Science Fight Radio show, I'm picking him mainly because I think of the size and strength advantage. But the more I think about it now, I'm like, man, is he really gonna be able to implement that, or is Rich just gonna be able to kind of pick him apart on the feet? Not pick him apart, but just get the better of it throughout all 3 rounds, all 15 minutes. Just be able to have a slight edge. And the likelihood is that's probably going to be the case. However, I'm going to stick with my initial pick. I'm going to go with Forrest. I don't know how he's going to be able to do it exactly, but I just think he's going to be able to implement his size and strength advantage in some way where he's going to be able to wear Rich down and get the better of it. I think it's going to be a close bout. Can even envision a split decision, but I'm going to go with Forrest by split decision or Forrest to win either way. But don't be surprised if Rich Franklin wins this fight. I won't. That's for damn sure. On to the main event of the night. Middleweight champion, pound for pound, one of the best, if not the best fighter in mixed martial arts. Anderson Spider Silva taking on the phenom Vitor Belfort. Now, I've been watching this sport basically since UFC 1. I remember when Vitor Belfort first entered the UFC, he was compared to Mike Tyson, a young Mike Tyson. He was so head and shoulders, just physically and athletically, above all the competition. Tank Abbott, Scott Ferozzo, these are some of the first guys he fought. It was just a joke how much quicker and better of an athlete he was than these guys. It was amazing. It was like, wow, this guy's the future. Goes without saying that Vitor has had his ups and downs. Although he's won titles at heavyweight and light heavyweight, I don't think he's ever really lived up to the potential that people expected of him, or maybe even didn't expect himself. His career's just had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of peaks and valleys, but somehow, 10, 15 years later, here he is, another chance at the gold against, possibly the best fighter in the sport, Anderson Silva. Now, this is actually going to be Vitor Belfort's first time, I think, fighting at 185 in the UFC. Fought Rich Franklin at 195. But weight shouldn't be a problem. He's been under that Dulce diet, which seemed to work for most fighters. Seems like he's on track for weight. Vitor did look good in his last UFC bout, taking out Rich Franklin, knocking him out. Anderson, as we all know, in his last bout against Chael Sonnen, didn't look so good those first rounds. Granted, he didn't get dominated the entire fight. He did have his moments in the stand-up here and there. But, even in the first round, when he seemed to be getting outstruck, outpunched by Chael Sonnen of all people. It was pretty amazing to watch. Obviously, he doesn't want Vitor to, give Vitor that opportunity. But, Anderson was able to pull out the win against Chael last minute, literally, to secure the win and retain his title. Obviously, Vitor Belfort doesn't bring the same kind of problems or look, so to speak, that Chael Sonnen does. But either way, he does bring an interesting challenge. He's the better boxer. He's got the better hands of the two fighters. But in all honesty, that is really, and I think he's faster. I think he's a naturally quicker and faster fighter. But other than that, I really don't give Vitor Belfort any edges in this fight. I think Anderson Silva is a little bit mentally tougher. A little bit. I think he's more well-rounded. On the ground, hard to say. Neither of these guys really use their jiu-jitsu a whole lot, but Anderson, we've seen him submit guys. We haven't seen Vitor do that in a long time. Vitor, although he's taking out guys with knees, like Marvin Eastman, usually just relies on his hands. Anderson obviously relies on the hands, the elbows, the knees, the feet. He's a Muay Thai fighter. He relies on all points. So striking's going to be more well-rounded, obviously. I think he's better at using distance. unless Vitor is able to catch Anderson early, I really just don't see him winning this fight. Vitor is a guy that usually fades. This is a 5-round fight. The longer it goes, the less likely he's going to win this fight, in my opinion. I just hope that Anderson Silva fights, at the top, at the level of his ability. Goes up there and put on the kind of performance or the effort that we expect from him, or that we would like to see from him. I don't want to see a performance like the ones we've seen against Damian Maia, where he's so far ahead, or he's winning the fight, that he kind of just clowns and just cruises. I hope that if he is ahead and Vitor does start to fade, he really pours it on and looks to take him out, or just applies his dominance rather than just kind of kick backs and cruises to a decision. Either way, though, like I said, unless Vitor is able to catch Anderson early on the chin and take him out, which could happen, but I don't see it happening, gotta favor Anderson Silva in this fight. I want to pick him by stoppage because I think Anderson has the ability to stop Vitor. I don't see a reason why he shouldn't, especially with this being a 5-round fight. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to go for it. So I could see it going to decision. I think if it goes to decision, the last couple rounds may not be the best. But either way, I got to go with the champ and go with Anderson Silva to win this fight and retain his title. Anyways, like I said, I talked about this whole event with my co-host on last Sunday Science Finance Radio Show. You can go back and listen to that if you'd like, on demand or whenever. I'll put the link to the information in the information part of the video as usual, as well as a link to my Twitter. Want to hear your guys' thoughts on this event, which fights you're looking forward to the most. Obviously, I want to hear your thoughts on Jones Bader, your picks on that, Griffin Franklin, Silva Belfort, just a whole card in general. And that's pretty much it. I'll probably be back Saturday night, if not Sunday afternoon, talk about these. Definitely next Sunday, Science Finance Radio, as usual, before the Super Bowl, of course, not during. But until next time, guys, I'm out.